A free trip to Dubai, a company that people call a scam, and a trail of broken promises are all things that I dealt with when WhiteRock, a cryptocurrency company, flew me across the planet to prove to me that their company is not a scam. But I finished my trip to Dubai and now I'm flying back to the States. And while I was there, they promised I could meet their team, ask all questions that I had, and tour their facilities. But there was no team, no facilities to tour, and no questions got answered. And before the flight home, they left me with the promise that they would do a Zoom meeting or a Google Meet, and then they would finally answer all of my questions with the appropriate team members. I set my whole life aside for this trip. I lost tons of money in my business, lost financial resources, spent a bunch of money out of my own pockets, and I ended up with nothing. Not even content to post at this point. Now, they did pay for what they said would be first class seating, but it ended up as economy seating. And that was just the first of many of their broken promises by WhiteRock. But the Zoom meeting, as I had mentioned, is definitely supposed to happen. When I was trying to schedule the Zoom meeting or Google Meet with them, they were a little finicky and their responses seemed unwilling to commit to a meeting or a time. They kept asking over and over again if I could send them my questions for the interview first. I put a lot of work into these questions, and as a company, they should know the answers. I finally said that if we can meet for a Zoom meeting and we can talk off the record for a half an hour or so, and at that time I will expose all my questions and then we can do the interview. They finally agreed and set a time. And after I got back to the US, we were ready to do the meeting. Max Genefri started messaging me again in the morning, who is their chief marketing officer. The morning of the meeting, he again started asking me over and over if I could send the questions. I finally caved. About 20 to 30 minutes before the meeting, I decided to just send them the questions. At this point, I had a feeling that they had no intention of doing the meeting with me. They just wanted my questions. So they, like narcissists do, can come up with whatever lies they need to before they have to answer them again with anyone else. And I was burnt out. With all their lies, manipulation, empty promises, I knew that as soon as I gave them these questions, they would immediately find some reason to cancel the meeting. And now I'm going to ask you who's watching, before I tell you what happened, what do you think happened? Take a second. I'll pause for a second. Do you think that they went through with the interview, or was my paranoia wrong? Or do you think they found a way to cop out? Come on. Answer coming in 3, 2, 1. Let's see if you were right, because I was right. Immediately after I sent them my questions, they canceled the interview to better prepare for my questions, to which I'm sure that's what was going on. They promised that they would review the questions and reschedule with me, and then over a week went by and I heard nothing from them. So I wrote this mini docu-series because I'm sorry, I'm not coming out empty-handed. The content that they were supposed to provide me for my channel was gone. Everything in this mini docu-series was everything that they left me with. This is their fault. They left me with all of these opinions and perspectives. I wanted to think good of this company, but with everything they provided me with, I just couldn't. I mean, I did everything I could for them. There was nothing else I could do on my end short of just kidnapping them and tying them up and forcing them to admit that they're a good company. I messaged them on Telegram after they canceled our meeting, and that was the last I heard of them. They never got back to me. I'm not sure if they were waiting for me to keep begging or harassing them for an interview. I mean, I flew all the way to Dubai, showed up at their company office, practically begged for an interview there, then begged them again for a Zoom meeting, which they also didn't show up to. I mean, I think I've done enough. They took my questions and ran. If they expect me to continuously keep harassing them and begging them to answer my questions, the questions that they contacted me first and they offered to answer in the beginning, then that, in my opinion, is just another narcissistic trait that the company is portraying, because that's a reversal of a power dynamic. It's no different than being in a relationship with someone who cheated on you, cries and cries and wants you back. And as soon as you decide to maybe give them another chance, suddenly they are making you apologize for leaving them. Or even worse, you find yourself apologizing for making them cheat. That's how narcissists work. Now, do I think everyone in the company is a narcissist? I don't know. But that's the traits that are being portrayed, in my opinion. So here we are. The final chapter's over. So when it comes to WhiteRock, do you buy or not Dubai? That is the question. Dubai or not Dubai? That is the question. Get it? It's a play on words, like to buy or not to buy. And never mind. So my final stance in this project, as it stands, is not Dubai. Basically, don't buy. I think the company is too chaotic and unreliable. The co-founder can't seem to even communicate about his own company and quite literally runs from questions. I just don't think it's safe, guys. Stay away from WhiteRock and White Network. I will say, as a final note, and as a close to all of this, I do see a perspective where young, slightly immature, unorganized, yet ambitious people could just be working on a project. But with how everything turned out, to think that positively about them at this point is just not possible. Maybe they'll change my mind in the future. We'll have to see. So why didn't I want to make this video about WhiteRock? Because part of me felt like I was being negative or attacking, and that's not something I ever wanted my channel to be about. One thing I notoriously hate about critics in any aspect, whether it be about a movie or music, is contrarians and hot take shills. Contrarians always focus on the negative perspective because it's easier to pick apart things that are wrong as opposed to praising what they did right. Because it's easier to tear things down than build them up. Besides, let's be realistic. If you're putting your opinion out there like it's law, then you're obviously dealing with some level of narcissism. Which is reason one on why I don't think this video was easy for me. I'm not narcissistic enough to shred apart somebody's company for my own gain. And hot take shills, all they have to do is just have a hot take on something, on everything. For example, do you like pizza, Mr. Hot Take? Absolutely not. Despite pizza being one of the most beloved foods in the world, for the sake of my narcissism and need for attention, I'm going to choose to dislike this food publicly to create shock and awe by having a hot take on the subject of pizza, driving people to pay more attention to me and litter me with questions about why I don't like pizza. Also, you're feeling my large dose of attention needing of narcissism. Yeah, to fuel my narcissism. And don't forget, because I'm a narcissist, I will still love pizza. I just want to eat it in front of people who know my hot take. And if I'm in a scenario where people who want to eat pizza and I want to eat it, I will try to manipulate that scenario to make people beg me to try the pizza so I can taste it and admit that it's okay. This pizza isn't that bad. Both fueling my need for attention, suppressing the flames of the lie I created, and allowing me to eat pizza secretly that I love, all without damaging my ego or reputation. Wow. Living like that is a ton of work, isn't it? Having to keep track of all your lies all the time? That seems like a lot of work. I remember when I was younger and I was dating some girl and I got to meet her parents. Her dad did what dads do. He grilled me, and I sat there and answered all of his questions. He was really impressed at the speed of my responses and how I responded. He even asked me, "How are you able to answer all my questions so well?" I told him, I don't believe in lying or manipulating people. And if you just tell the truth all the time, there's nothing to think about. He literally and physically was taken aback. It was like leaning back with his eyes wide open, staring at me, almost like he'd never heard anything like that in his life. He probably hadn't. Narcissism just ain't in my blood the way it's in other people. That's reason number two why I did not want to make this video. Because doing social media for me isn't actually easy. The social media sphere is tough. I withdraw from too much attention. I'm more of a turtle who prefers to hide in his shell and watch Netflix. But during the period in which I went to Dubai, I didn't post any regular content for about 3 weeks. These are some of the reasons why I took a sabbatical from social media after the WhiteRock trip. But mostly, I just wanted to take a chance to try to create higher quality content. And I truly hope you think this mini doc-series on WhiteRock qualifies as higher quality content. If it does, please let me know by reposting my videos, leaving a comment, liking, following, or even better, buying anything from my TikTok shop. I really encourage the Arculus wallet. It's my favorite cold storage wallet, and the link in my shop is actually direct from the manufacturer. I verified this myself by contacting the team at Arculus. While these other cold storage wallets on TikTok are being sold by third parties, which mean you have no clue who had access to that wallet before it got to you. This one, the Arculus in my shop, is verified and safe. And also, the Dubai chocolate bar, which is, not gonna lie, darn good. I appreciate you. Wealth, love, and authenticity to you all.